I think there is some problem with that.
There is some problem. I'm trying to figure out why that happens. Just a minute, we'll start. Right. Okay. I know why this is happening. Just a minute.
Yeah, it is visible now.
Visible?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. So we had finished talking about the first two part, which is the topic sentence and the no, only the first part actually. We were discussing development of paragraph, right? Just to give you a quick revision of what we were doing. This is what we were looking at, right? So we look basically, we discussed the basics of professional writing, how it is different from other. And then this is the part we are at right now. So we're looking at the elements of professional writing and within which we're now discussing the first part, which is developed and organized paragraph, right? So the last class we were mostly discussing about the development of paragraphs, within which we have covered the first part, which is the topic sentence, right? Topic sentence, we discussed what it is. We looked at what that the topic sentence has both the topic and the main idea. Then we looked at the positioning of the topic sentence, right? Whether it should appear in the beginning or at the end or somewhere else in the paragraph. For professional writing, we said that the most preferred one is the placement of topic sentence in the beginning of the sentence, right?
Yes, ma'am.
One thing we discussed. We also looked at this, right? Writing effective topic sentences. So not too general, not too specific, right? It should not give away too many details of what your paragraph is going to discuss. It should also not be too vague, right? Not giving absolutely no idea about what the paragraph is going to. So we looked at a few examples where we looked at what the topic sentence is and also the placement of the topic sentence, right? Topic and the controlling idea for each of these four examples. And we also saw that in all of these four different examples, we had different placements of the topic sentence, right? Like in this one, it's the first, it's in the beginning. For this one, it was at the end, right? For this one, we did not have one. So we also had a case where the topic sentence was only implied. We did not have an explicit one, a proper clear topic sentence in the paragraph where which you could point towards and say that, oh, this is the one. Instead, we could only imply, we could read through the whole paragraph and just say that this could be the topic sentence, only an implication. You don't have a sentence by itself in the paragraph which could be taken out as the topic sentence, right? So these were the few things that we discussed. So today we are going to discuss the remaining part of the development of paragraph, and within that the remaining two components for developing a good paragraph, and they are supporting sentences and the concluding sentence. So let's see what it is, and then we're going to do an activity today that is going to be mostly about the topic sentence. So like a quick activity on how to identify topic and the controlling idea. For all of these supporting sentences, concluding and all, we'll do the exercises in the coming weeks, definitely next week. So I want you to listen to the class and spend some time with it and then come to the next class and do some exercise, right? So we'll proceed that way. Today's class will be looking at topic sentence in the exercise part. Okay, so let's start. Supporting sentences, they are very important part of any paragraph, or as you see here, it's also referred to as the meat of the layers in the paragraph. So you have three layers, right? You have the topic sentence, the supporting sentences, and the concluding sentences, right? These three form the layers of a paragraph. Now, among these, the meat part, which means the chunky part, the heavy part, the detailed part, is referred to as the supporting sentences. What does it do? It forms, you sometimes listen to something called the body of the paragraph, right? We might have heard a lot of this. We would have heard body of the email, body of the letter. So whenever we say body of something, we're referring to the most significant part, the most the detailed part of that. Okay, not significant, everything is significant, every part is significant, but you can say the most detailed part of anything is referred to the body of that. So the supporting sentences are then the body of any paragraph. They give you the essential details, everything that makes your paragraph serve the purpose that it is supposed to, right? So that is what supporting sentences functionally do. What do they do? What can be the kind of sentences that can become supporting sentences? Sentences that explain, or sentences that prove or add to the claim that has been made in the topic sentence, or elaborate on the claim that has been made in the topic sentence. So what all do you have? Explain, prove, or add, or elaborate. Any claim that is made in the topic sentence then becomes in your supporting sentence, right? So this is the task: prove, explain, add, or elaborate. So any sentences of this nature will then become the supporting sentences in your paragraph, right? How many supporting sentences can you write? It depends. If it's a short paragraph, somewhere between, say, 3 to 4 sentences works. But any, on an average, it can include 3 to 6 sentences. Anything more than that may become a little, too chunky, too long for proper comprehension, right? So 3 to 6 sentences in a paragraph should be okay. On an average, right? Shorter paragraphs may have just say somewhere between 3 to 4, but on an average, say 3 to 6. More than that could be a little cumbersome on the reader to deal with. So that's about, if anybody has a question on how many can I write in a paragraph, then 3 to 6, right? The sentences, what do they do? What kind of things? So to explain, prove, add, or elaborate, what are the kind of techniques that the supporting sentences use? What other methods can supporting sentences use to do the explanation, elaboration part? It could provide you with reasons. It can state facts. It can quote statistics, right? So if you look at some of those annual reports or any sort of reports, usually we'll have all of these, right? Statistics, quotes, etc. So all of them are treated as supporting sentences because they all help in proving or explaining or elaborating or adding to the claim that's made by the topic sentence. So supporting sentences could be reasons, they could be facts, they could be statistics, they could be quotations also, right? And they could be examples as well. Remember, these are, so these conclusions or these observations are made after analyzing, a whole bunch of paragraphs that were available to people. In no way it means that, this functions or the way it can go about is restricted to the one that you see here. There could be more that you can add to this, but the most common ones that you find as supporting sentences or what supporting sentences usually do are listed under these 5 categories that you see. Okay, we'll look at examples from each of this to understand how it is done. So read through them carefully and understand how supporting sentences are used to give reasons, right? Just read through. It's not very difficult to understand per se, but just, for the sake of comprehension, you can go through this paragraph that's there on the screen and see how supporting sentences are used as reasons in a paragraph. take a minute or two and read it, and then we'll go to the next example so that you can see that as well. Okay. So what is the paragraph talking about? I haven't lost you, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, it is talking about a concept like bogeyman. Whenever any elder brother or sister want to frighten the younger one, so they will use this concept of bogeyman to
Yes.
make them fearful about to do any good. So that is the method they use.
Yes. So mostly the topic is bogeyman, and why the controlling idea would be why young children are so often threatened, right? That is the topic that you have to deal with. And then the paragraph is discussing the many reasons why these children are threatened by bogeymen, right? Why it is so terrifying for them. Look at that paragraph carefully. Do you see phrases like one reason, another reason, a more sinister reason? See that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So all of those sentences are what? They're all supporting sentences. You have made a claim that bogeyman is used as a concept to terrify children. And all of those sentences that you see thereafter are the reasons why, children are so threatened by this, right? So this is what one method, or this is one way in which you can see supporting sentences in a paragraph, right? Because of the nature of the supporting sentences, the paragraphs get named like, if it's a paragraph where you have supporting sentences that are mostly reasons, then you call it a reason paragraph. So the name of the paragraph usually comes from the nature of the supporting sentences too. Okay, it's not important for you to understand, but in case somebody tomorrow tells you, "Oh, this is a reason paragraph," it just means that most of the supporting sentences in the paragraph gives reason for the claim made in the topic sentence, right? Okay, all right. So let's then look at the. Yes.
Ma'am, can you just indicate the introduction body and the conclusion lines, ma'am? They are obvious, but if you just indicate, it would be nice.
You mean the topic sentence and?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So in this one, your topic sentence is going to be this one. There are several reasons why young children are so often threatened with a visit from the mysterious and terrifying bogeyman, right? Because that is a sentence which clearly talks about the topic and the controlling idea. Okay.
Okay.
Right. And of course, last one, in short, the bogeyman is a convenient myth that will probably be used to haunt children, is your concluding sentence. And the rest of the sentences, obviously, they point towards the reasons why they're terrified. They'll all form your supporting sentences. Okay.
Okay. From the first phrase, you better stop that phrase, that quotation.
These are all writing styles, sometimes people prefer using such, sometimes people use introductory phrases, sometimes people use introductory sentences. They might have not have anything directly connected to the paragraph, or they may not be even important. Like, look at those sentences. If you remove all those sentences, the paragraph is still good, right? Look at it. you better stop wetting your bed or else the bogeyman is going to get you. Most of us probably remember a threat like this, one being delivered at one time or another by a parent, babysitter, or older brother or sister, right? If you take out that whole part from the paragraph, actually it does not make much of a difference, does it? Structurally,
No.
right? It
Yeah.
does not bring about
Actually, ma'am, the first sentence is usually said by the all common people. That's why the author used that particular sentence to
correct.
grab the attention, like what I'm going to talking about. I
So
think.
these are all, more stylistic features than anything about the structure of the paragraph itself. So they're not essential. When you talk about structure, what we mean are essential things, right? Other parts, of course, the writer has the liberty to decide what can go, what can make things more attractive. Like what you're saying, to grab people's attention. All of this is creative liberty, the creative freedom. They can decide what to write and what not to, right? So
And that sentence, the first two sentence, those we can't consider them as topic sentences, no?
No, we cannot, because they don't talk anything about, they do not give you any clear indication of what your whole paragraph is going to be. That comes only from the third sentence, right?
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Now, this is an example of how supporting sentences are written as facts and statistics. Okay. Now, facts and or statistics, because most of the times they go together, right? So to state facts, sometimes you also need help from the statistics, which is why it is and or. But they can appear on their own also, not necessarily dependent on each other. So read through that. Okay. So anything with a lot of figures, statistics, most of those details in a paragraph will have to go into the supporting details, right? The first sentence is simply an indicator of what you're going to read, and the details, of course, follows up in the supporting sentences. Okay.
Yes,
all right. Now we look at the next one, which is quotation. Okay. Quotation is very common, people use them very often in the body of the paragraph. But what is not considered a very good thing to do these days is to begin with a quotation. Okay. It's a little trite, has been used over and over again, and now people don't really follow with it. So it's better to use quotations only if it is essential to what you're writing. If it can make your writing clearer, then use quotations. Otherwise, leave it aside, especially, when you're writing professionally. It's not recommended to use too many quotations in your writing forms. Okay. Write them only if required. So see, talking about the craft of writing, Pinker hints at how writing is inherently poetic in nature. He remarks, right? Look at almost any passage and you will find that a paragraph has 5 or 6 metaphors in it. It's not that the speaker is trying to be poetic. It's just that that's the way language works. Okay.
Ma'am, this quotation is different from what a person is quote something about anything, and we copy the same quotation of that person in our paragraph or in our writing.
Didn't get you. Please come again.
Like a statement is given or any quotation is given by any person, any famous person, and we quote them in our paragraph also.
Yeah.
So those quotations are similar to this. like
They're all
different.
quotations. Okay, if you're taking anybody else's remarks and using them in your work, then they all become quotations. They have to be quotations, right? Anything that is not said by you, or if you're using remarks by other people, then all of them are essentially referred to as quotation. And quotations needn't be single lines. Okay, they can be sometimes the way it is written here also. They could be opinions which are longer than a sentence or 2 or 3. Okay.
His quotation itself is the supporting sentence and body of the paragraph, no, ma'am?
Yes, yes. That's what.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an example of how quotation works as supporting sentences. Now, this is an example paragraph. Example paragraph in the sense, a paragraph which is, which is an example in itself, right? Which talks about, which gives you an example about something. So, read about this. So, despite the fact that piranhas are relatively harmless, many people continue to believe the pervasive myth that piranhas are dangerous to humans. This impression of piranhas is exacerbated by their mischaracterization in popular media. For example, the promotional poster for the 1978 horror film Piranha features an oversized piranha poised to bite the leg of an unsuspecting woman. Such a terrifying representation easily captures the imagination and promotes unnecessary fear, while the trope of the man-eating piranhas lends excitement to the adventure stories. It bears little resemblance to the real-life piranha. By paying more attention to fact than fiction, humans may finally be able to let go of this inaccurate belief. Okay, example paragraph.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Now, okay, so is this understood to you? We have looked at 5 methods that we discussed in the slide, right? Reasons, facts, statistics, quotations, and examples. This was the reason 1, right? Facts or statistics, quotation, and example paragraph. There could be more than this. So most of the ones that you see in paragraphs are of this nature, which is why only these 4, okay? In this no way means that we are restricted to only these kind of supporting sentences. There could be more, certainly. Okay. Is that fine? Shall we look at the last layer, which is the concluding sentence?
So, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is concluding sentence? Concluding sentence, of course, as the name suggests, is something that puts a conclusion to what has been in discussion, right? One thing that you need to keep in mind with respect to concluding sentences, that not every paragraph, right? Not every paragraph will have or should have a concluding sentence, especially if you're writing a longer piece of work, right? Whether that's an essay or a report or a journal, okay? Anything that is little longer than 2 paragraph, 3 paragraph will certainly not have paragraphs which have concluding sentence, right? So unlike your topic sentence and concluding sentences, you may not find a concluding sentence for every paragraph. However, if it's a standalone paragraph, that is, if you're writing a single paragraph about something, then concluding sentence is a must. You cannot close that paragraph without giving a proper concluding sentence, right? So in terms of its presence, these are the things that you should keep in mind, that standalone paragraphs must have a concluding sentence. Rest of the ones, especially in longer piece of writing, it is not required that you have a concluding sentence for each paragraph that you use, okay? Now, what are its functions? Mainly 2 functions, right? One of it is obviously to tell the reader, to signal the reader that they have reached the end of the paragraph, right? They are going to close, the paragraph is going to be closed. Obviously, that's the first function. The second function is to reinforce or restate, right? Reinforce, restate, okay, what has been claimed in the topic sentence. So for example, if we talk about, say, let's look at one of these examples that we have read. Look at this one. Okay, what was your topic sentence? There are several reasons why young children are so often threatened with a visit from the mysterious and terrifying bogeyman, right? This was our topic sentence. Now look at the last sentence. In short, the bogeyman is a convenient myth that will probably be used to haunt children and sometimes actually cause them to wet their beds for a long time to come. If you read these two sentences together, the topic sentence and the concluding sentence, don't you think, like, you know, the concluding sentence is used to restate, okay, or reinforce what has been said in the topic sentence?
Yes, because the author is saying that bogeyman is a convenient myth that will probably be used.
Right.
So he is making a assumption that maybe it will be used in future also.
Correct. So there is some sort of additiveness that is given to the concluding sentence. However, the main function that it is performing is reinforcing the idea that is already established, that is already claimed in the topic sentence and is established through the supporting sentences, right? So this in some sense ties all of them together and presents you a reinforcement of the idea, the main idea that is being discussed in the paragraph, right? And that is the function of the concluding sentence. Okay, so to reinforce, restate what has been claimed in the, or what has been elaborated and explained using the supporting sentences and the topic sentence, right? Major function is that. Now, what are examples, or what are the kinds of concluding sentences? What can be called as a good concluding sentence? Okay, first one, as mentioned, anything that restates the main point or idea, any sentence that can restate the main point or the idea of the paragraph. A sentence that summarizes the key points of the paragraph, right? That is also a good concluding sentence. So concluding sentence can be a restatement, it can be a summary statement, or it could be a conclusion. See, draw a conclusion. So look at all the points that has been mentioned in the paragraph, both in the topic sentence and the supporting sentence, and draw a conclusion from that. Okay. So if it is a sentence of the sentence of a kind which provides conclusion to your major key points, again, that is a good example of a concluding sentence. Make a prediction, right? Make a prediction. The example that we just saw, right? The author says it may continue to haunt the children in the coming years, right? So it's a form of prediction, okay? So these kind of sentences also can then become the concluding sentence to paragraph, right? So, okay, fourth one, make a prediction. Fifth one is give suggestions, okay? This is also very common, right? In reports and all, you will see suggestion and recommendations. The sixth point is give recommendations. So especially in documents like reports and journals, the last part of the report is utilized to provide recommendations and suggestions, so much so that it is sometimes referred to as recommendations and conclusion, right? So both these things, the recommendation and the conclusion part, which in a sense goes hand in hand, which is why a statement that makes recommendation or suggestion can also be treated as a good concluding sentence, right? And then offer a final observation or thought about the topic. This usually happens in opinion paragraphs. When you want to finish off an opinion paragraph, then what you do, you give a final observation or thought about something, right? About the topic. You will use the paragraph to completely explain and elaborate on the opinion you have. You will elaborate on your argument on why you have that opinion. And as a finishing off mark, you use a final observation point to talk about the topic. Okay, something, hinting the person to read about something further, or say, or bring a quick connection with something that has happened recently and then end your paragraph or some sort. Okay, opinion paragraphs usually don't have too much of a structure, but the basic part in a paragraph, which is topic sentence and supporting and concluding sentences, they remain intact. Okay, although their orders could be a little here and there in opinion paragraphs. Okay, so these are the yes.
In the last one you just told us that we can take the example, the one which you gave in the quotation type.
In the quotation?
The example for which the quotation type
writing.
example you gave, no ma'am?
About writing, right? Yeah, that's an opinion paragraph, but again, it's only, yeah, you can say that. But it's not a full paragraph, which is why I did not give you an example from that.
No, but in the last sentence in that, last part of that paragraph.
This one?
Yes, ma'am. He says it's just that that's the way the language works. So this.
Yeah, sure. You can take that as a
concluding sentence.
Concluding sentence, offering a final thought. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, okay, where are we? So understood this part. So the major functions to reinforce, and your concluding sentences could be any among these 7 that's mentioned, right? Anything that restates, anything that summarizes, draws a conclusion, makes a prediction or suggestion, makes a recommendation, or offers a final thought or observation. Okay, so this is about how a concluding sentence looks in a paragraph, or what all it can be. You have an example here quickly to understand topic sentence, supporting sentence, and concluding sentence. Read that, a very short paragraph it is. I have indicated the topic sentence and other 2 parts already for you. Just read through and see if you agree with it, right? If you can see how topic sentence, supporting sentence, and concluding sentences have worked here, and if it fits with what we have discussed about each one of them. Is it okay? Fine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. There's one more thing that is important while we discuss paragraph writing. Of course, the components are important to develop it, but there needs to be something that holds them together, right? So you can't have like any bunch of sentences and then put them together and have a paragraph. When we discussed paragraph writing, I think that slide, if I just take you back to that, the very first thing that we looked at, like this one. What was that? Read the first part. A series of sentences that talk about a single point. So we discussed this in that class, that anything cannot be a paragraph. Any group of sentences cannot give you a paragraph. So what collection of sentences will make a paragraph? If those collection of sentences talk about a single point or idea, right, and are coherent and organized. So should talk about a single point or idea, should be coherent, and should also be organized, right? If all of these conditions are fulfilled, then you can call it a paragraph, right? Which means along with the different components and layers of developing a paragraph, what is also important to us in making of a good paragraph are 2 important topics, which we refer to as unity and cohesion in writing. Okay. Now, what is unity? Unity simply refers to, talking about or point to elaborate on that one single point or the main idea of the paragraph, right? Whatever your topic is. Unity is achieved through maintaining that one single point or main idea of the paragraph throughout the paragraph. you are not allowed to talk about more than one idea per paragraph. So if this part is achieved in your writing in the paragraph, then you say that there is unity in the paragraph, right? So the components of a paragraph must present and point towards a single idea. So this presence of single idea, or talking about single main point, or the main topic of the paragraph, is referred to as the quality of unity, right? What is cohesion? Okay, unity is talking about single point, and what could be cohesion? Cohesion refers to the logical continuity. That means it should flow, right? There should be a smooth flow from one sentence to the other, not just in terms of how they are arranged, but also in terms of the flow of thoughts, right? So there should be flow between the sentences in the paragraph, right? Within the paragraph from one to the next. Okay. And there should also be a good smooth flow between the paragraphs, right? So the flow is not just between sentences, it has to be also between paragraphs. This is the case when you're writing a longer piece, right? Like an essay or a report where you have multiple paragraphs. In that case, cohesion has to be established not just between the sentences in the paragraph, but it also has to happen between one paragraph to the next, right? So there has to be a smooth transition. You must have heard about this linguistic element called transition devices. Are you aware about it?
Yes.
Yes. So transition devices, what are transition devices? Can you give me a few examples of transition devices?
The device which like interpret the another language and translate it to another.
No, not that. Transition, that is, you're talking about translation. I'm saying transition. Okay. Transition. What does transition mean?
It means shifting, something like.
Right. To move from one to the next, right? That is transition. Yes. So even in a sentence that happens, when you're talking about a sentence, the transition happens between one to the next, right? So in that process, it should not look like, you're doing it very abruptly, right? Okay. It should not look like you are jumping from one to the next without giving a heads up to the reader, or it should not look like you haven't established a good connection between the two. So transition devices help you do that in the paragraphs. And there are several kinds of transition devices. I'll talk to you on transition devices when we talk about different patterns of paragraphs, because for each of them we use different kinds of transition devices. But to begin with, I can simply give you examples like, but, although, additionally, furthermore. These small terms or phrases that you see in between sentences, or even sometimes between paragraphs, these are referred to as transition devices. And their major role is to tie these sentences together coherently.
Connectors, we can say.
Connectors, but in writing, more than connecting, their duty is to establish this link properly, okay, of ideas, more than just words or sentences, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's what we mean. And look at this, the last one. Logical arrangement will also mean that your information must be, if needed, arranged spatially, temporally, or chronologically. Okay, these are all parts of different patterns of
cohesion depends on the situation, because in different situation, I mean chronologically, let's say chronology. So in different situation, chronology may be different, and maybe sequence may be different, could be different. So it depends on the situation. No?
What depends on the situation? The transition devices?
No. Cohesion, like how we make them sequentially.
No, cohesion does not depend on any situation. No matter what your situation is, things have to be written coherently. Okay. What will change are the signposts, okay, or the devices that you use to indicate each of these differences. So for example, to show something, to show spatiality, you will have a different kind of signposting, a different kind of set of transition devices. To show something in a temporal arrangement, which is time-related arrangement, you will have to use a different set of transition devices. Or if you want to express contrast to the idea that you have been talking about, then a different set of transition devices, right? So we use language to indicate those changes. So the method or the methodology we use are the same. Only those devices use change in order to indicate that now we are talking about something that is chronological. Now, or something is spatial or something is temporal, right? So to show arrangement, you'll use different devices to do, but the process remains the same.
Okay, the devices change, but the process remains.
Yes. Devices change, but the process would remain the same. Okay.
So what does temporally means?
Temporally is something that is related to time. Okay.
Okay.
Temporal dimension is the time.
But chronologically also means the same, right?
Chronology is sequence, not time.
Okay.
Order of events is chronology, not.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
And transitional devices are used between the paragraphs.
They're used between the paragraphs and between the sentences in a paragraph.
Yes, ma'am.
Both. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So these are two important then things in the paragraph writing part, besides your three layers which form the paragraph itself, right? So you need both unity, which is referring to the single idea, and cohesion, which is logical continuity or flow between paragraphs and between sentences in the paragraph. Okay. So this is all we take up for today. Next class, we'll talk about patterns of organization. So let's do a very short exercise in the last few minutes we have. We have about 15 minutes, so we'll do that. Let me share one screen with you. Do you see this screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so very small task. Okay, we're going to identify. This is based on what we discussed in the last class. Okay, topic and controlling idea. Your task is to look at each of these sentences and decide what the topic is and what the controlling idea is. Okay, this is very basic to writing paragraph. Look at it. I'll do the first one for you, and you can see how it is done for the rest. Okay. So there are many reasons why pollution in ABC town is the worst in the world. You want to try before I give you the answer? What could be the topic?
Pollution.
There are many reasons why pollution in ABC town is the worst in the world. No? So see, the topic here is what? Pollution in ABC town, right? The paragraph is going to talk. If I ask a question like, say something like, what is the word or phrase? So we don't have a paragraph here, so you cannot ask how often is it repeated and all that, but you can certainly ask question like, what is the big idea of the paragraph, right? So this question can be answered using just one sentence here. Since we are already told it's a topic sentence, our only task is to figure out what the topic is, right? So what do you think is the big idea being discussed here? Or what single word can you use to describe the paragraph? Single word or say phrase, anything.
Pollution in ABC town.
Pollution in ABC town, right? So that's the major big idea that the paragraph would talk about, given this is a topic sentence and is mentioned already. Now, what is the controlling idea? There are many reasons why pollution in ABC town is the worst in the world. What do you think your supporting sentences are going to be about?
About the ABC town.
The rush, that is the rush. There are many towns in the world that are very bad at pollution, like bad in pollution.
No, pollution is your topic you have identified. Now, if you read the sentence again, what do you think the supporting sentences are going to be about? We just discussed it today, no?
It will describe the pollution in town.
Will it describe the pollution in town? Somebody has, no, not why. That's why. Read the sentence again. It very clearly specifies. In writing, you don't put anything which you're not going to talk about. Anything that you write unnecessarily. So anything that you put in a sentence or in the writing, which you do not elaborate on, would be considered irrelevant, right? So when people grade you or value you, they will always ask you, why did you write this? Okay, if you are not going to talk about it. Yeah, you are saying your answers are correct, but you're not giving me the right word. Why pollution? So what is the supporting sentence going to give you?
Reason?
Reasons, right? Reasons.
Is going to be
right. So that is right. That's given right in the sentence. There are many reasons why pollution in ABC town is the worst in the world. So ideally, the supporting sentences are then going to give these reasons. Otherwise, there is no reason why they should mention something like that. So your topic is pollution in ABC town, and your controlling idea, which means the idea which is going to be developed in the following supporting sentences is going to be the many reasons for pollution in ABC town. See this? Okay, I'll do one more, the second one, and you'll understand how to do this. Okay. So to be an effective CEO requires certain characteristics. Now, what is the topic here?
Effective CEO.
To be an effective CEO, that is your topic. And what is the controlling idea? What do you think the supporting sentences will talk about?
The characteristics of effective CEO.
Right, the characteristics. Get this? This is how you develop a paragraph. You write the topic sentence, within which you have the topic and the controlling idea. So everything is decided right there. The rest of the part is just an elaboration of what this idea is going to be. Okay. Now, third one, there are many possible contributing factors to global warming.
Factors to global warming is a topic.
Topic is what?
Global warming.
Global warming.
Okay. And your controlling idea is many possible contributing factors. Okay.
Okay.
That is what your controlling idea is. Now, fourth one, fortune hunters encounter many difficulties when exploring a shipwreck.
Difficulties when exploring a shipwreck.
Sorry?
Difficulties.
Difficulties when exploring a shipwreck is what?
Controlling idea.
What's the topic?
The topic.
It is a topic, I think.
No, it's fortune hunters as the topic.
No, read again.
A shipwreck.
You decide and tell me. I am waiting.
My exploring shipwreck is a topic, and many difficulties when exploring a shipwreck is the controlling idea.
Shipwreck is the topic.
Exploring shipwreck is the topic, ma'am.
Shipwreck.
And many difficulties when exploring a shipwreck is the controlling idea.
Correct. That's correct. Exploring shipwreck is your topic. No, read it. It is when you say fortune hunters. You read that sentence again. Fortune hunters encounter many difficulties when exploring a shipwreck. That doesn't give you any idea about the paragraph is going to be on fortune hunters, right? It's clearly, the controlling idea is clearly many difficulties. And what are these difficulties about? The exploration of the shipwreck. Then that has to be the topic, and many difficulties is going to make up your supporting sentences, which is the controlling idea. Get it?
Ma'am, but the exploring shipwreck is obviously done by the fortune hunters, no? So fortune hunters can be the topic, and their difficulties when exploring a shipwreck can be the controlling idea. I mean, if fortune hunters is the topic, then the difficulties faced by fortune hunters while exploring a shipwreck can be the controlling idea.
Okay, why don't you do one thing? Not now. Just take that one example, just one sentence, and try
Yes,
to
ma'am.
write without referring too much here and there. Try to write a few sentences based on what you're saying, like taking fortune hunters as your topic. Write a paragraph and don't send it here. We'll discuss it in the next class. So you can bring it there. Don't write too much, say 3 or 4 sentences more. And
Okay.
show me how it will look. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
You will understand it clearer when you do this exercise. Okay. Maybe just one sentence does not help you understand. But write few more sentences taking fortune hunters as the topic of this paragraph and then write.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. 5th one, dogs make wonderful pets because they help you to live longer. Dogs make wonderful pets because they help you to live longer. What do you think the paragraph is going to talk about? It has because. Controlling idea, topic.
Dog make wonderful pets. It is the topic.
Pets is your
topic.
Okay. And it says because they help you to live longer. Obviously, your rest of the paragraph will have to establish that claim. So basically give reasons of how they help you live longer, right? So then they help you live longer is your controlling idea. You're going to give reasons to establish that claim, that idea. Okay. Clear? 6th one, crime in poverty-stricken areas occurs because of a systemic discrimination. Same thing. What is your topic?
Crime in poverty-stricken areas.
Crime in poverty-stricken areas is your topic, and your controlling idea is going to be systemic discrimination.
Yes.
Right.
But
So
ma'am, can't we revert that, like we can also make some topic on systematic discrimination also, no? Like if we want to, if we want to do
carefully, it says because of a systemic discrimination. This is a claim you are making. You have to prove it, right? You say you give reason for something and then you'll have to prove it, right? Topic sentence is usually a claim that you make, and then you have to write more supporting details and arguments to to establish that claim, right?
Because it's there, yeah.
Okay. Now, 7th one, teen pregnancy may be prevented by improved education. What's your topic?
Teen pregnancy.
No, topic is what? It's not just teen pregnancy. The topic is teen pregnancy may be prevented. That's your topic. Okay. How? Through improved education. So this is a how paragraph. It's again going to give you elaboration on how this can be done. Okay. How through improved education this can be prevented. Right. So teen pregnancy may be prevented becomes your topic, and how that happens through improved education then becomes your controlling idea, and then which means your paragraph is going to establish that particular part. Okay. Just always look at it in this way. What is the claim being made in the sentence? Okay. So that is going to be your topic and the controlling idea, right? Understand this? Why teen pregnancy may be prevented is your topic and not just teen pregnancy.
Yes,
right?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Cooking requires a number of different skills. Topic?
It's cooking only.
Cooking. Topic is cooking. Okay. And what's your controlling idea?
Requires a number of different skills.
Right. Yeah. Either you say requires a number of different skills, which means your controlling idea is these a number of different skills, right? That's what you're going to elaborate on. Okay. All right. 9th one, it is important to be ready before buying a house. Topic?
Buying a house.
Buying a house.
Buying a house, and your controlling idea is it is
important to be
ready. Right? 10th one, graduating from high school is important for many different reasons. Topic?
Graduating from high school.
Correct. Graduating from high school. Controlling idea?
Is important for many different reasons.
Many different reasons. So you're going to basically provide reasons for establishing that claim. Having a first child is difficult. because of the significant adjustments in your life. Topic?
Having a first child.
Having a first child, because it's already given. So the claim has to be established now. What's your controlling idea?
Significant adjustment.
Significant adjustments, right? The significant adjustments. Okay. This should be the last, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, this is. Remodeling a kitchen successfully requires research and a good eye.
Remodeling a kitchen successfully is the topic.
Correct. Remodeling a kitchen successfully is your topic. And then?
Research requires research and a good eye is a
becomes your controlling
because we are going to give reason for that.
Yes, you're going to establish that claim in your supporting sentences. Get this? Okay, so now what you can do is you can, whenever you come across any piece of writing, look at it carefully and see what is the topic sentence. Okay, and see if your paragraph of, if whatever you read across establishes that claim properly. That's how you know if someone has written good or not. Okay, so check for the topic and the controlling idea and see if it is being established using the supporting sentences. Okay, this much is important. If a single paragraph, then it should ideally also have a concluding sentence, but in essays you can avoid. You can help yourself with a concluding sentence at the end of the essay. Okay. All right. Is this clear for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So, all right. That's all I have for today. Next week we'll continue. Like I said, we'll talk about patterns of organization, and we'll do a bit more exercise on the supporting sentences and concluding sentence for the next class.
Actually,
Okay.
I have a doubt regarding other thing, like regarding English to course, ma'am. Actually, I received a mail from English to team, English to course team, and they have mentioned in the mail that you have to record an audio sample for the your assignments. There is a question and you have to record a sample on that. Okay. So you have to load it on Google Form, but Google Form is not accepting the audio file like MP4, MP3, or M4A. So
okay,
I think there is some problem on that.
Sure, I'll convey this to the team and ask them to check why that is not possible.
I think if they give permission to audio file only, then we can upload that.
Okay, fine. I'll check with the team and convey this problem to them. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining in. So we'll meet next week, same time.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, the structure of the paragraph you described right now. Ma'am, this can vary, right? We cannot sometimes, in some paragraphs, we don't have topic sentence because the topic itself was described in the first paragraph and we are continuing in the second paragraph.
No. This will not differ. Even in longer essays, every paragraph is supposed to speak about just one idea. They may be connected together, which we establish using these transition devices as we mentioned. But I mean, you can take one major topic and then talk about different things associated with it, right? But even then, every paragraph is going to talk about something new about the same thing. In that sense, it's a new it will have its own topic sentence and the supporting sentences, not a concluding sentence, of course, because it's a longer piece of writing, but topic sentence and supporting sentence, yes, it will.
Okay, that means every paragraph will have something different from the other paragraphs.
It has to, right? Otherwise, what's the point of writing? We can't keep on writing the same thing, right?
But the flow of the paragraphs is maintained with respect to the main idea of the essay or writing.
And we establish that through various transition devices that's available to us. We show that link. Okay.
That means attributes of the main topics will be taken by each paragraph.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. All right. See you all then next week. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sakshi. See you next week.
Ma'am? Hello, ma'am?